Obviously, the spotlight currently on Sudan. Many questions about what it will take to rebuild or build a new country literally from scratch. Have you quantified the costs of investment that are needed for Southern Sudan?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a difficult question, but what I could say really it's enormous. What is needed is really enormous because you are talking of building the whole infrastructure from scratch. You know, building new roads, airports, and so on and so forth. Even the ICT and telecommunication infrastructure, houses, for instance. So you're really talking of a lot of money required to do that. But investors are willing. Everybody's willing to go into Southern Sudan. But obviously, there's a political risk element which they need to take care of to be able to invest without really worrying about the investment.
Let's talk about that political risk element, because following the end of the civil war in 2005 and the signing of a comprehensive peace agreement, World Bank and many other multilateral players were now open to the idea of getting involved in Southern Sudan and in Sudan in general. But there was a caveat, and that was that Sudan wasn't eligible for the ATI political risk insurance. What does that mean, and is that still the situation?
For us in ATI, maybe I'll talk a little bit about ATI. ATI, African Trade Insurance, is a multilateral organization owned by African governments. At least we have about 8 governments who have signed up, and of course we have others who are signing in. We as ATI, we could not go into Sudan at that time because Sudan had not finalized a membership formalities with us. But I think we are making progress, and of course now that new Southern Sudan is coming on board, we have to start fresh negotiations with them to come on board, and then we'll be able to ensure political risks emanating from that country.
I mean, how is risk defined at the moment? We talk about political risk, and obviously there are issues around the threat of war, the threat of social unrest, but how much broader is the definition?
Well, political risk, I think, is quite wide, and of course, it's narrow as well, because most insurance companies will normally insure what is called commercial risk, which commercial risks are the normal risks like property insurance, fire, motor, because those ones are purely commercial and easier to handle. But political risks are normally risks which are normally not within the it's not possible for the insured or the insurance company to be able to handle, because these are normally maybe caused by action or inaction of government. So in terms of impacts, they're quite big, compared to the normal fire risk or a car being involved in an accident. So for that reason, it needs a big capacity, and that's why you find that political risk insurers are either in the international market or multilaterals like ATI and MIGA, which is an organization of the World Bank, covering political risks.
All right, George, what protection is there for companies that want to enter Southern Sudan? I mean, a lot of businesses, from banks to supermarket chains, are clamoring to get into that market. But how can they ensure that their investments are not lost, that there isn't a breach of contracts on investment, that whatever currency is going to be utilized is a tradable currency?
Yeah, that's some of the risk investors face in any market. Even markets as developed as Kenya. Any people investing in Kenya, also found themselves in 2007, exposed because there were risks which they never expected. So what more if you're going into a country where it's not been tested, there's no government. I mean, regulations are yet to be put in place. So that means that there's so much exposure to any investor who is going into that country. So at the moment we're going to start discussions again with the new Sudan government, the Southern Sudan, and we'll try to fast track their membership so that all the companies which are going into Sudan, particularly from Kenya or our member states in the region, would be comfortable in doing that and feel that they are protected, the investments are protected.
All right, now you mentioned MIGA, which is the World Bank Agency for Multilateral Investment Guarantees. Why has this not aided Sudan in general in terms of accessing non-commercial risk cover? Because it seems as though for many people entering the Sudan right now, when it comes to insurance, they're entering a black hole.
Well, I think for Sudan, there are some complications, obviously, as you know, apart from the issues of Darfur and others, which obviously, as World Bank also, they had to be careful and to make sure that, if they're really, ensuring some of the investments, they're really doing, they're ensuring investments which really also conform with the World Bank policies as well, and they will not, get involved in investments which they feel that are tainted in one way or the other. So that, I think, could have been one of the reasons why MIGA was not able to really openly ensure all the investments which were going in Sudan. But I believe with what's happening now, and the coming into Southern Sudan, and Sudan itself, having a rebirth in terms of international acceptance, then I think there should be no problem going forward, both for MIGA and maybe ourselves when we get membership of these countries.
All right, George, final question, and very briefly, for any companies that want to get into the Sudan, how do they go about tangibly getting themselves insured? What would they need to do? Contact your agency and then do what?
Yeah, at the moment, of course, just to contact us, and maybe, we will tell them what to do in terms of, which forms to fill. But like I said, what is the most important at the moment, and what we are still going to work on immediately, is to make sure that we get, Sudan, Southern Sudan, even North Sudan, who we have been talking to, to fast track their membership, and so that they will also be able to attract more investment, because there are some, of course, companies from Kenya who have taken the risk without, like KCB or Equity Bank, who are going there without really having political risk insurance. But they've been talking to us, but we are telling them that it's just a matter of time before we're able to finalize this membership, and then we'll be able to, give you cover. But what is important is that, for Southern Sudan, I think it's very important for them to fast track this membership, because the investment into the country, which they need badly, would be very easy to come if, they are members of ATI, and we're able to provide this cover which is needed by investors.